Hi guys, this is Ms. Greenstein. Today I'm going to review thesis statements. It's important to remember whatever you've learned in the past about thesis statements to be clear, concise, and most importantly, be controversial. What do you remember about thesis statements from last year? Do you remember that it's often the last sentence of your introductory paragraph? Do you remember that it's kind of like the GPS of your paper? Without it, the reader won't know the direction of your essay and will probably get lost. So it's the most critical sentence that your essay will have. So let's dive right into it and take a look at one. Vegetarianism is the only moral choice to avoid the senseless killing of animals, since humans are not genetically required to be meat eaters. What do you think those colors refer to? Well, let's take a look at the parts. A thesis statement always announces the topic of your essay. It also announces your position or claim. That's where the controversy comes in. And finally, it reveals the significance to your audience. In other words, why should your audience care about what you're saying? So let's look back at that very first example. Notice that the topic was vegetarianism. Then, is the only moral choice to avoid the senseless killing of animals? Well, that's your position or your claim. And since humans are not genetically required to be meat eaters, that's the significance to the audience. Because of course, many people do eat meat and are very comfortable doing that. Let's take a look at another example. The subject would be the schedule at William Penn. Your position doesn't really give students enough time to learn the material, and there's the controversy because some will disagree with you. And the significance to audience would be maybe the schedule makes kids lazy and incompetent. So what does it sound like when we put it all together? The schedule at William Penn does not give students enough time to learn the material, making students lazy and incompetent, inhibiting their growth and initiative. That's a pretty solid thesis statement. Notice that it's one clear sentence. There are no contractions like doesn't, and there's no slang, there's no use of I, or my, or I believe. Let's take a look at another one, but this time we're going to make one from a popular play called The Crucible, where one of the characters' name was Proctor, who was involved in a pretty racy affair. So the subject is Proctor's motivation in The Crucible. The position or claim is he wanted to maintain his dignity despite the fact that he did commit adultery. And why should the audience care? Well, he ends up standing for what's right. So what does that sound like put together? The main motivation of John Proctor, the tragic hero of The Crucible, was that he wanted to maintain his dignity, despite the fact that he did commit adultery, reminding the reader of the importance of standing for what is right, even when the consequences have deadly results. Does the order, though, matter? Let's go back to that very first thesis that we took a look at. Vegetarianism, that was your topic, is the only moral choice to avoid the senseless killings of animals. That was your claim with the controversy. And here comes the significance to audience, since humans are not genetically required to be meat eaters. Does it have to go in that order? Well, let's take a look. In this example, you can see that the colors are reversed. So humans are not genetically required to be meat eaters. That's the significance to your audience. So vegetarianism, which is your topic, is the only moral choice to avoid the senseless killing of animals. And there's your claim. So you can see that this works too. Got it? Keep your thesis statements concise, which means brief, clear, one sentence, and formal. No I, my, contractions, or slang. If you've got it, then you're good to start writing your own thesis statements, and you can move on to the next activity in the Schoology Flip lesson. Thanks for watching.